Hi all, welcome to the video lecture series of Object-Oriented Programming. In this video lecture, we'll be discussing about input-output basics in Java. These are topics that we'll be covering in this video lecture. We will see how to read input from a console, how to write output to a console, etc. We all know what is input and output. In Java also, input-output means it is used to process the input and to produce the output. In Java, we make use of a concept known as stream. This concept is used to make input-output operation faster in Java. And all the classes that we require to perform the input and output operations are included inside a package named java.io, where Java is the main package and IO is the sub-package that is available inside Java. And what is a stream? How can we define a stream? A stream can be defined as a sequence of data. In Java, a stream is composed of bytes. We all know 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. And why it is known as a stream? In Java, a sequence of data is said to be a stream because it is like a stream of water that continues to flow. So it is based on that concept we are naming it as a stream in Java. In Java, there are two kinds of streams. They are input streams and output streams. As the name indicates, input stream is used to read data from an input source, and output stream is used to process the input, and then it is used to the output stream is used for transferring the output to the destination. This figure clearly indicates the processing of the input and output stream. Java application makes use of the input stream to read the data from the source. Then Java application processes the data and write the data into the destination by using the output stream. Apart from the two basic streams, there are three streams in Java that are created automatically for us. They are, first of all, system.out. We use this stream to print something to our console screen. System.out.println. We are using this to provide the output. So that is our standard output stream. Second one is system.in. If system.out is standard output stream, system.in is our standard input stream. It is used to get input from the keyboard. And third one is system.err. This one is our standard error stream. We will see a figure which explains the working of these three. As we can see, we have a program. If we want to receive an input from the keyboard, then we have to use system.in standard stream, because that is our standard input stream. Similarly, if we want to output something into our screen or onto our screen, we have to use the standard stream system.out or system.err. System.err is used for displaying the error messages. And both system.out and system.err, they make use of the screen or monitor to display the output. Now we will see how to read input from the console, how to read input while running a program, how to read the input dynamically. There are three different ways by which we can read input from a console. They are, first of all, by using PrintWriter class available in Java. Second one is by using scanner class, and third one is by using the console class. Now we will see one by one in detail. Now we will see how to use PrintWriter class to read input from a keyboard. PrintWriter class, this is the traditional technique that was introduced in JDK 1.0, that is from the first version of JDK. If we have to use PrintWriter class to read input from a keyboard or from console, we have to do the following things. We have to wrap the system.in, which is our standard input stream, in an input stream reader which is wrapped in a Java buffer reader. As you can see, there are three steps that we have to combine together into a single step. So it increases the complexity and it becomes really hard to remember these three steps. So I repeat, if we have to use buffered reader class to read input from a keyboard, we have to do these three things. First of all, we have to wrap system.in in an input stream reader which is wrapped inside Java buffer reader. We will see an example in which these three steps are combined together to form a single step. As you can see here, we have to import all these packages if we have to use this buffered reader class, io.bufferedReader, io.io exception, io.input stream reader. All these are different packages that we have to import, and see how we are declaring this buffered reader object. Here reader is the object name of buffered reader class, and this is what we mentioned here. We have to wrap system.in inside input stream reader which is wrapped inside buffered reader. So these are three different steps combined to form a single step. So only if we perform these three steps, then only we can use this object reader to read input from the keyboard. So here buffered reader is a class name, reader is the object name, and we are creating the object of buffered reader like this. We are wrapping the system.in, our standard input stream, inside the input stream reader which is wrapped again inside the buffered reader. And then we can use the object reader by using the methods to read the input from the keyboard. Here reader.readLine. ReadLine is actually a method that is inside the class buffered reader. Since this method is inside buffered reader, we can use the corresponding object reader to access that method. As the name indicates, readLine, this method is used for reading a single line of instruction or single line of input from the keyboard. When we do like this, one line of statement or one line will be read from the keyboard and it will be stored inside the variable name, and we are printing it. That is how this program works. So here what you have to remember is this step, the combination of system.in, input stream reader, and the buffered reader. Because we have to combine these three steps, it becomes very difficult. It is really difficult to remember these three. So this technique is not commonly used nowadays because we have another class named scanner, which is very easy to. The second way to read input from keyboard is by using the scanner class. It is one of the favored technique to read input from the keyboard because it is really easy to learn, understand, and make use of it. We will see an example and then we will explain. In this example, we have imported one class scanner which is inside the package named util, which is again inside the package named Java. So in this case, if we have to use the scanner class, we have to import only one class. As in the previous case, when we used buffer reader, we had to import buffer reader class, input stream reader class, and IO exception. But in this case, there is no need of all those import statements. We just need to import only one class, that is a scanner class. Okay, and then we have to create the object of scanner class like this: scanner object name equal to new scanner. So from this word till this word, it's actually the exact syntax of creating an object. The only additional thing is we have to give the input stream reader system.in as a parameter to the constructor of class scanner. That is the only additional step that is required, or that is there in this step. From this word till this word is actually the syntax of creating an object. Class name, object name equal to new constructor, and for creating a scanner object we need to pass the standard input stream system.in as the parameter. So once we do like this, now in is the object of class scanner. Now we can access some methods inside class scanner. If we want to read a sentence, a single line from the input, we have to use the method next line. So since in is the object of class scanner, we have to type in.nextLine. So when we use this method, One complete sentence till we press the enter key will be read and it will be inserted into the variable s in this example. If we want to read some integers from the keyboard, then we have to use the method nextInt. So we have to use in.nextInt because in is the object of class scanner and nextInt is the method inside class scanner. Why we have to use this method is because everything that we insert from a keyboard is considered as a string. So even if we enter the number 10 or 20, it will be considered as a string. So if you want to read that number as an integer itself, then we have to make use of this method, that is nextInt. Similarly, if you want to read a number as a floating point number itself, then we have to use the method nextFloat. All these nextFloat, nextInt, nextLine, there are some other methods also. All those methods are available inside the class scanner. So if you want to access any of those methods, we need the object of class scanner. In this example, in is the object of class scanner. That is why we have written in.nextLine, in.nextInt, in.nextFloat. The third way to read input from console is by using the console class in Java. This class provides us with methods for reading text as well as passwords. Why we are highlighting passwords here is because the other two classes, scanner and buffer reader, does not provide any specific method to read passwords. We all know that passwords are really secure. Passwords has to be really secure. It should not be visible when we type the password. So console class provides us with a method so that when we type or if you are entering a password, then the characters that we type will not be visible. So that's the difference between console class and the other two classes. So here java.io console class is actually attached with the system console internally. We don't have to attach the system.in together with the console class because it is done internally. And again, console class is inside the package named io, which is inside the main package Java. We will see an example of how to using console class. So in this example, I have used a string variable named text, and see how we are using the console class. System.console is a constructor of the class console, and then readLine. This method is actually a method inside the class console. It is used for reading a text. Similarly, so this readLine's explanation of that method is it is used to read a single line of text from the console. Here single line has to be focused on because single line means up to we press the enter key on the screen. So after typing some words till we press the enter key, that much words will be considered as a single line. And next method is read password. This method is available only for console class or it's available only inside the console class, and it is used to read password. Okay, so when we type the password, if we are accessing some data, if we are getting the input by using read password, then whatever the user types on the screen will not be visible on the screen. So this is how we read input from keyboard in Java by using three different classes. They are buffer reader, scanner. Now we will see how to write our output to console. So the first thing that we have to understand is the standard output stream. Like system.in, we have system.out as a standard output stream. It is used to produce a result of a program on an output device like our computer screen. Now we will see some of the built-in methods available for the system.out standard output stream. First of all, it is print. This method is used to display a string on the screen. We will be passing the text to be printed on the screen as the parameter to this method. And when this method is used, the cursor will remain on the same line. It will not go to the next line automatically. So if we use the system.out.print method, all the output statements will be displayed on the same screen. Same line. We will see an example for this method. In this program, there are three system.out.print statements. All are printed in the same string. That is not that important. But what we have to consider here is we have used the same method print. So since we have used a print statement, this string will be displayed and the cursor will remain on the same line. The next line is also to print GFG exclamation and space. Again, this string will be printed on the same line on which this line is printed. So all these three statements will be printed on the same line since we are using the print method. So if you execute this program, we will get the output like this. All the three statements will be printed on the same line. The second method is println. This method is also used to display the output on the screen, but the difference between print and println is when we use println, after printing the text that we have passed as parameter, the cursor will be moving towards the next line, and the printing of the next statements will take place in the next line, not on the same line as in the case of print statement. The syntax of println statement is like this: system.out.println, and then we have to pass the parameter in that pair of parentheses. So it is similar to print itself, but only difference is the printing takes place in different lines, not on the same line. We will see an example. This is the same example that we have seen before, but only difference is the method we have used is println. If you execute this program, we will get the output as GFG exclamation in 3 different lines because we have used the println statement. So after executing this line, after printing this line, the cursor will be moving towards the next line on the console. So this second line of code will be printed on the second line. That is why this GFG exclamation is coming down and next one beneath it. I hope you understood the difference between. Another way to write our output to console is by means of write method. The simplest way of writing write method is like this: void write into b. So you can see here the parameter is an integer. So the write method always takes an integer value as the parameter. That's the difference between print, println and write. For print and println, we'll be sending the text that has to be displayed on the screen, but for write method we'll be sending the integer, the low order 8 bits that needs to be printed. We'll be see an example of how to use this write method. So in this example we are trying to print the letter X to the console. As we can see, we have declared a variable named y and we are storing the character X to y. When we do like this, the ASCII value of X will be stored inside y because y is an integer. And see how we are using the write method: system.out.write, and then we are passing y as a parameter. Here the type of y is integer. The write method can receive only an integer as the parameter. I hope you understood. The next way of writing the console output is by using the PrintWriter class. The system.out is only recommended for debugging purposes. For real world problems, we'll be using the class named PrintWriter because PrintWriter class can be used to display or to write any kind of outputs. PrintWriter is one of the character based classes because in PrintWriter class we'll be displaying the output based on characters, not on bytes or streams. PrintWriter class has got several constructors, but the most commonly used constructor is this: the constructor that receives 2 parameters. Out of these 2 parameters, one is the output stream object and second one is a boolean value. We will see what are they. Now we will see the meaning of each of these parameters that the PrintWriter constructor uses. First one is output stream. It's actually an object of the class output stream. So we have to mention the first parameter as the object of the system, our standard output stream available in Java. The second parameter that this constructor requires is a boolean value. So we all know that boolean values can be either true or false. So this boolean value controls whether the Java flushes the output stream every time a println method is called. Flushes means it just remove all the current existing data in that stream. Okay, so if it is true, then this flushing takes place automatically. If it is false, it does not take place automatically. It has to be done manually. And this PrintWriter class makes use of both print and println method available with the system.out standard output stream. So we can use those methods as we used in the case of system.out along with this PrintWriter class. We will see an example on how to use these methods with PrintWriter class now. So to write to the console by using a PrintWriter class, we have to follow two steps. They are, first of all, specify system.out for the output stream, and secondly, we have to use, or we have to maintain, or we have to make the second parameter as true. Okay, so that flush the stream after each time we print or we use the println method. So these are two methods, or these are the two steps we have to follow if we want to use the PrintWriter method or class to write the console. Okay, they are, first of all, you have to mention the system.out as the parameter of the system output stream, and second one is flush the stream after each new line. So if you want to create a PrintWriter that is connected to the console output, we have to write like this: PrintWriter, that's our class name, pw is the object name, equal to new PrintWriter, that's a constructor, and it requires two parameters. One is system.out, that is our standard output stream, and second one is a boolean value, it is mentioned as true. So since it is true, after every time we use the println method, the stream will be flushed. We will see an example now. In this example, as you can see, the same line we have used here. We have created one class, started the main method, created the PrintWriter object, two parameters for the constructor, they are system.out and true. Then we use the same method println that we used with system.out. So we don't have to write system.out here because we are using PrintWriter object pw.println. This string will be displayed. Then we are printing this pw.println I. Since we have maintained this as true, once this gets printed, this string will be removed, flushed out. That is why, so after line by line we will getting different outputs. If it was mentioned as false, this line will remain as such in the stream. So it will be displaying this string plus this and this, everything will be together. All the strings will be combined together in the last string if this was false. We shall conclude now. So in this video lecture we defined what a stream is, what are the standard streams in Java, how can we read console input, and different ways to write console output. I hope all of you understood. That's all in this video lecture. Thank you so much.